Well, a former advisor to Donald Trump is heading to trial on 2 criminal charges today. CP24's Art Zakarian joins us live with more. This could take a few months. What's happening? Jury selection, has that started?
Well, it begins today, and Steve Bannon is a one-time former advisor of former President Donald Trump. I'm actually going to bring in Stephen Farnsworth. He is a political science professor at the University of Mary Washington. Thank you so much, Stephen, for being here with us.
Glad to be here.
Can you tell us what's happening today in the trial?
Okay, today is the jury selection day. It'll probably take all day. You're looking at impaneling a selection of jurors who are going to make the determination about what's going on in this case.
These charges are very serious. Can you tell us about the seriousness of what Steve Bannon faces?
Right. I mean, he faces 2 charges on the question of whether he was willing to provide information to the January 6th committee, the committee in Congress that's investigating the insurrection or the rebellion that day. Bannon originally claimed that he had some sort of executive privilege, which he does not have because he was a private citizen at this time. He faces up to a year in jail for each of these efforts that he made to refuse to cooperate with the committee. It's a very serious matter, and clearly the January 6th committee would like to see a pretty severe sentence here in order to deter other people who choose not to cooperate or delay their cooperation with the committee, which is trying to get to the bottom of what happened on that day throughout this summer.
So what's Bannon's defense based on, and will it hold up in court?
Well, so far, the main issue that Bannon has used as his defense has already been rejected by the judge. This question of whether or not he has any sort of executive privilege status. Executive privilege works for confidential information given to the president by other federal employees, other government employees. And so because Bannon was just simply a private citizen and a talk show host and podcaster, he doesn't have even the start of a legitimate claim that he has some sort of executive privilege status. As a non-federal employee, it was a non-starter. But it was an argument that he was able to use to delay cooperating with the committee for more than 6 months. And so it may have served its purpose in that way. But it certainly created a very difficult environment for him to have much of a defense with respect to the charges that he's facing right now. Did he cooperate with the committee? Did he not? It's clear from all the evidence that he did not.
Is Bannon willing to testify and give information about that day now?
Well, he's opened the possibility that he might be willing to give testimony at this point, but it's not clear that he really means it or what conditions might be attached to that kind of cooperation. But what is clear is that he failed to meet the original deadlines. He failed to offer legitimate defense. He failed to offer anything other than the rejection 100% of what the committee was requesting.
And if Bannon is convicted, it's going to be pretty historic. It would be the first guilty verdict of contempt of Congress in nearly half a century.
That's right, because most people fear Congress and they act with their own self-interest in mind. I mean, one of the more interesting parts of the Donald Trump story is the extent to which people like Bannon have been willing to protect the president, even though the president hasn't done a great deal to protect them. On his way out, he was president, of course, for about 2 weeks after January 6th. Trump could have pardoned Bannon and other people in the middle of this insurrection. He did not do so, and as a result, they are facing charges from, of course, the January 6th committee if they're not cooperating, but they may also be facing criminal charges from the Department of Justice relating to what they did that day beyond just the unwillingness to cooperate with the committee.
It's going to be very interesting to see how all of this plays out. Thank you so much for this, Stephen. Stephen Farnsworth is a political science professor with University of Mary Washington. And of course, we'll keep an eye on this story and tell you how things develop. Back to you.
Okay, Arda, thank you so much for that.